No human being will ever know the truth, for even if they happened to say it by chance, they would not know they had done so. Moderation in all things healthful, total abstinence from all things harmful. Most people, when they are set upon looking into other people's affairs, never turn to examine themselves. Anything forced is not beautiful. If you consider what are called the virtues in mankind, you will find their growth is assisted by education and cultivation. Battles are decided more by the morale of the troops than by their bodily strength. What am I lying here for? We are lying here as though we had a chance of enjoying a quiet time. Am I waiting until I become a little older? People often say what is right and do what is wrong, but nobody can be in the wrong if he is doing what is right. He who eats with most pleasure is he who least requires sauce. I will venture to maintain that where the teacher is not pleasing to the pupil, there is no education. A man may hate cruelty and lies, but if he's never given an opportunity to show what he's made of, no one will remember him when he dies. Men, the enemy troops you can see are all that stands between us and the place we have for so long been determined to reach. We must find a way to eat them alive. The man who doesn't know his own ability is ignorant of himself. There is small risk a general will be regarded with contempt by those he leads, if, whatever he may have to preach, he shows himself best able to perform. It is no disgrace but honorable rather to steal, except such things as the law forbids. Success should never breed complacency. Whatever you determine to be right, with diligence endeavor to perform. I am a stranger in all countries. I will choosing to die rather than to remain alive without freedom and beg, as an alternative to death, a vastly inferior life. Men unite against none so readily as against those whom they see attempting to rule over them. If any among you covet riches, let him endeavor to overcome, for the victorious not only preserve their own possessions, but acquire those of the enemy. You know that neither numbers nor strength give the victory, but that side which, with the assistance of the gods, attacks with the greatest resolution is generally irresistible. Wherever magistrates were appointed from among those who complied with the injunctions of the laws, Socrates considered the government to be an aristocracy. The sweetest of all sounds is praise. Excess of grief for the dead is madness, for it is an injury to the living, and the dead know it not. Misleaders are slow to work hard but quick to act on greed. They convince their men that dishonest behavior leads to great wealth. Well-trained personnel always come through in a pinch. He who marries a beautiful woman in hopes of being happy with her knows not but that even she herself may be the cause of all his uneasinesses. Truly, men often fail to understand their own weaknesses, I said neutrally, and their lack of self-knowledge can bring terrible disasters down on their own heads. Separated from Hellas by more than 1,000 miles, they had not even a guide to point the way. So violence is not to be expected of those who exercise reason. Such conduct belongs to those who have strength without judgment. Anyone who imprisoned people on the ground of ignorance might fairly be confined himself by those who understood what he did not. Nothing that is really good and admirable is granted by the gods to men without some effort and application. Your game is to attack on whichever flank you can best conceal your advance, or, still better, on both flanks simultaneously. He should have the craft to appear absent when close at hand, and within striking distance when a long way off. Success always calls for greater generosity, though most people, lost in the darkness of their own egos, treat it as an occasion for greater greed. Shamelessness, they hold, treads close on the heels of ingratitude, and thus ingratitude is the ringleader and chief instigator to every kind of baseness. Most of us are always trying to increase our wealth, but you and your officers seem far more concerned with perfecting your souls. Don't give them enough time to arrange a solid defense. We've got to appear against them like an uncontrollable nightmare of spears and battle axes and flashing swords. Self-confidence should always ride side by side with a strong sense of humility. Brevity is the soul of command. In the face of danger, be eager, not intimidated. When soldiers are sick or wounded, doctors can fix them up, but you've got to save them from falling ill in the first place. We're all going to die, but does that mean we have to be buried alive? If an army is to win through to victory, it has to spend all its time helping itself or hurting its foe. Therefore, an army should never be idle. A number of friends is of more worth than a flock of sheep, or of goats, or than a herd of oxen. We call a man ungrateful, answered who, having received a kindness, does not return the like, if occasion offer. That the life of man may at all times and seasons, even in afflictions, and in all sorts of circumstances, be universally employed in the practice of philosophy. Obedience should not be the result of compulsion. Socrates gave a lifetime to the outpouring of his substance in the shape of the greatest benefits bestowed on all who cared to receive them. Every one of you is the leader. Fast is fine, but accuracy is everything.